Dave Weiss here with the Glue Bomb Show. Well, today I've got a review for you on this kit. This is the Discovery Model Engine Kit. With this kit, you can essentially build a functional 4-cylinder engine. Now, I picked this kit up and sort of rushed it through for a couple of reasons. The first one is I've always wanted to build one of these working engine kits to be able to see all these parts move and everything. But the second one is, it says here on the ages 8 and up. It just so happens I have a grandson who's going to turn 8 in the next week or so, and I was wondering if this was something I could get for him. So I decided to build it real quick, see if it worked, and if it worked, I was going to get him one, and guess what? It works, so I'm going to pick one up. Again, I found this at Ollie's, good stuff cheap, right? I found it at Ollie's, and it does work. It works really well. So I'm going to show it to you now. So here it is. You can see if you look through there, the whole block and heads and everything are transparent. So you can see the parts as they move. It's got everything working. You got crankshaft, pistons and rods. You've got the camshaft and the lifters and all that other good stuff in there, valves and all that. It all moves up and down, back and forth the way it's supposed to. It works really well. You don't have to take my word for it. I'm going to show it to you in just a second. But essentially, it's a pretty good size piece. I'd say it's probably about foot 13, 14 inches long, and stands probably about 8 inches high, 8, maybe 10 inches high, and it's really, really pretty nice. Okay, so this works with, it entirely screws together, these little tiny screws, but fortunately, they give you a magnetic screwdriver for those little screws right in the kit. And it's not a bad screwdriver. It wasn't stripping out the screws. It wasn't breaking. It was doing essentially what it needed to do. And it was magnetic because, these sausage fingers sometimes have a hard time with the little tiny parts. So that magnetic screwdriver really helped. Again, it says on the box 8 years old and up, but I got to be honest. The and up is important here, okay? Like, I don't think I would hand this to my grandson and say, here you go, right? I think that he and I will do this as a grandfather-grandson project, and that'll be fun for a couple reasons. I can explain to him some of what I understand about how this thing works, how an actual engine works. His mother has a 4-cylinder vehicle, so she probably has something like this under the hood. But my grandson is growing up on a farm. My son is a farmer. And so he is constantly wrenching on engines and other farm implements and things like that. So chances are, if my grandson sticks with what he's currently into, there's a good chance that he's going to end up wrenching on things in the future. So I thought this might be a fun way to show him how engines work and introduce him a little bit more to modeling. Again, no glue on this piece. There was one piece that I was really tempted to glue, and it's this little piece right here. This piece that covers the fan, covers this pulley, and it just pops in. The problem with that is, when it's moving, it also pops out. And I thought about gluing it, except for there's a problem. They include 2 of the fan belts and 2 of the timing belts in the kit, which leads me to believe sooner or later that thing's going to stretch and not work properly for one reason or another, and I might have to pop this off, and a whole lot of other parts off, by the way, to be able to get in to do that. So I wanted to make sure that I could still get in there. So I'm going to leave that stuck on there, and if it pops out, it's not like I'm going to use this all day, every day. Right? I'm going to put this up. It's going to be a nice display, but I'll run it occasionally. It'll be really cool. And if this pops off on me, so be it. All right? So, here we go. We're going to plug in the motor first, and then we're going to plug in those lights. And I don't know if you heard that sound, but that sound was that part that I was telling you about falling off. So, if you look in here, you can see the crankshaft, going, and the pistons going up and down. You can probably hear those valves and lifters going up and down. And if you look over here, you can see the spark plugs going. Now, I'm not sure if that's exactly in the right sequence, but I got to tell you, it's good enough to demonstrate what's going on, right? This is a cool little piece of machinery. I really enjoyed building it. I'd say I built it in probably about 2 hours, maybe a little more, but it went together really nicely. The hardest part of it was getting the camshaft together, because you took the lobes of the cam and you put them on a steel rod essentially, and you had to have them in just such an order. And frankly, the pieces, the numbers on the pieces to tell you which lobes went where, those things were tiny, and I had a little bit of a hard time with it, but I figured it out, got it going, and overall, I'm just really happy with it. About the only thing, if I had a complaint, and this is a small complaint, but if I had a complaint, it would be I wish they would have done these wires differently. Maybe made them look a little more like spark plug wires as opposed to a bunch of wires hanging down. The nice part is they do give you these plugs instead of trying to hook things up, because sometimes that doesn't work quite right. So overall, this is a nice piece. This went together really well. Again, cooperated really well. I didn't have to take anything apart and try again. It all went and worked the way it was supposed to work the first time, which was really cool. And I got to tell you, I had fun with this. And as you know, that's good, because model building is supposed to be fun. Here's what I would say. If you've been interested in having a little working model of an engine, this would be really cool to put on your desk. If you want to share with a kid the joy of model building, this would be fun. It's the idea that it has no glue and things like that makes it really easy to build. Secondly, it's just a good way to introduce a kid to the hobby, a good way to teach a kid how an engine works, all kinds of stuff. There's really some great applications for this little model. So, and once again, I picked it up at Ollie's, good stuff cheap. It was $19.99, and they had a discount running off of that yet. So I picked it up. I'm really glad I did. I'm hoping they have another one tomorrow so that I can pick one up for his birthday. If not, I'll probably just give him this one. All right, that's all I have for now, guys. Take care. Have a great day. And remember, model building is supposed to be fun. This one was fun. Take care.